Hello. Today I want to talk about drawing gesture in 3D space. So, just to give you some pointers, if you're trying to do this, it's kind of like what people would call a combination of gesture and construction because I'm not a professional gesture drawer. And the other thing is, I'm drawing from a clothed model. In general, if you can, draw from nude models because it's a lot easier to see the body and you can construct them a lot better. And it's a bit difficult to do with clothed models. Well, because of the clothes, you need to see the body and kind of see. You don't see the bones, but everything's so related to it, and you can kind of generalize it in the shapes. So I'm just gonna draw her leg here. I have the source. I'll put the citations for it in the credits. But I had like a bunch of free model images that you could redistribute as long as there was like a license and a citation for all of that. But okay, I'm going on a tangent here. So let's just say you have So in gesture drawing, there were like three main types of curves. You have like straight lines, C curve, and an S curve. I'm going to draw a better S. An S curve. I, C, S. And the purpose of them is to generalize. So when drawing let's just say we're drawing her leg, it's difficult to, there are so many various bumps on the leg and everyone kind of varies a bit differently that it kind of becomes like a really difficult challenge to do it. So if you use more general shapes, it helps you accomplish it. So, but we're not going to forget about the structure of the leg. So we have a leg, and you have to think of it from a 3D perspective. Like this isn't just like, I guess you could say there's an S. It isn't just like two S curves and a C curve. That's kind of what I would call it, but you kind of have to play around with it to really get to it, and I kind of messed it up a bit. But the important thing is to know that you can like make some shapes out of it. So I'm going to focus on the individual parts. Well, let me think. So if you think of the leg as like a tapering cylinder, I mean, that's kind of what it is. You could generalize it like that. I mean, that's not the reality of what it is, but in general, you'll kind of see it like that. And, as her leg twists in 3D space, there are some things that are a bit more difficult to see. Like, I would say that, you can kind of summarize the foot as like a box. But, a foot in reality is not a box, but it can be helped to visualize it like that. To kind of think how it's sitting in 3D space. And usually with gesture, I kind of wing it. I don't always spend the most time with trying to be 100% accurate. And I'm probably thinking of this a bit wrong. But heck, I feel like with gesture, you could always kind of wing it to make it work. But I'm going to do it again. I'm thinking that there's kind of like a better structure to do it in. But, the important thing is kind of like understanding what you have, identifying, well, you know what? You could think about I, C, and S curves, but just know you should try to generalize what you have into those. But draw what you feel, because I feel like fixating on I, C, and S just becomes way too confusing. Because if you're drawing, like, the back part here, an S isn't drawn like that. It's like it's like a backwards S. So it's more like a more curved line rather than like an S. Like that was always my struggle with trying to understand gesture. That there's just a lot more to it, and sometimes fixating on that and instead of drawing what you see could like stop you and kind of make you question and unsure of what to draw. Because in general, I believe, I'm not sure what muscle it's called, but like you'll see on different legs, the curve near the back of the leg, like there's usually like a more straight part. Like on the leg, there's usually a more straight part, and then there's like a more curved part. And I'm going to do that again. And there's kind of like a more curved part. But like, you know, there's still a curve to the front part. This has to do with the bone. I'm looking in this area, by the way, of her leg. But like, you know, just because it looks straight doesn't mean like an eye curve, like a straight line is the best way to summarize it. I think like it's kind of like a straighter S curve. But like then you have variations in which generally, not always, you'll have women will have like a greater curve, and then it kind of like kind of flattens. Well, no, it's more like, look over here, and I'll put in a circle. Women are a bit more like that, and it kind of just gradually goes into the foot and all that. I'm not gonna draw the entire foot, but then like with men, it's generally like that, and then they have like a straight section on like their foot area, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to go down the whole rabbit hole of understanding like a very generalized anatomy of male versus female legs, but I'm trying to go into the point that it sits in 3D space, and kind of understanding that and drawing shapes to help you better understand that could be really beneficial. Like I really messed this leg up because like the clothing really throws me off, because like I guess this area is more like the thigh, or like, and it's like a bit more, you like, you know, we're below looking up, so it's kind of like the degree of the ellipses is getting a bit greater, I believe, because like think of how you're looking at a Roman column. I'll draw a Roman column for you. I should have drawn a horizon for you, but I didn't draw a horizon. But just know that like you have a horizon like this, and if you have a Roman column, I'm not drawing a Roman column. I think they're a bit more fancy, and I think for some reason like there's like a very specific design, because there are like a bunch of different types of columns. Why do I know so much about columns? I don't. If I did, I'd be able to tell you, but I just know that I'm wrong. So like at eye level, it looks, the degree of the ellipse, it looks like a straight line, but the reality is it's a circle sitting in 3D space. But the important thing to understand is, like, much like a cent piece, if you're looking at a penny from the side, it's going to look like a line, but you know, more often than not, the reality of it, it's going to have like a very small amount of a width, and it kind of, you can kind of see those ridges. I hope I don't sound like a broken record. I say that in quite a few videos, but you know, look at the Roman column again, or the column. When we're when the ellipses are like above the horizon, the degree is going to get gradually larger until you get to the top, when it should be the greatest, if that makes sense. And near the bottom, you know, the degree of the ellipse is going to be like going the other way, because we're above looking below, and it is going to get greater. The degree of the ellipse is going to get larger as we go. Make sense now? I hope so, because I keep wondering how I botched the leg over here, because I'm definitely seeing some mistakes. Okay, some mistakes I made was like, I didn't really alternate. Like I should have made that the other way to like better denote. Well, no. I think I'm right. I think it's better to keep it like that because in this image we're below looking above, so I think it still follows through. I should have varied the degree of my ellipses more, but I didn't do that. But yeah, I think that's the general thing. In the future, I do plan to make more videos, and I want to talk more about how gesture is important in like any organic thing. I mean, I think any organic thing is going to have gesture. Things that are like straight like boxes, I don't think they really have gesture. I think you can have shapes that have gesture, like a circle. But yeah, I feel like more often than not, it's organic stuff you'll have gesture. But yeah, I hope this little explanation kind of helps. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in my content. But yeah, thank you for listening. I appreciate it.